In this WrestleTalk news, another AEW injury, major changes to WWE's premium live events, my review of SmackDown, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
AEW's women's division was dealt another blow at last night's Rampage as it was announced on commentary that Penelope Ford had been pulled from her scheduled match with new signee Willow Nightingale. About bloody time too, by the way. Ford was replaced by the baddies Layla Gray in the contest, who were going to lose to Nightingale. The extent of Ford's injury is currently unclear, but it is yet another setback for AEW, but more specifically for Ford, who already missed the first 8 months of 2022 following an injury sustained in the brutal tag team street fight on the December 31st edition of Rampage. Whatever the extent of the injury, we at WrestleTalk would like to extend our well wishes to Ford for a speedy recovery. But now for some very surprising news, as it seems like WWE could potentially be set for a partnership with none other than GCW of all places. The pairing seems ludicrous initially given the drastic contrast in the two companies' products, you know, pizza cutters and all that. However, according to the Wrestling Observer, there is something going on between the two. The rumors first began following a curious tweet from GCW's own Joey Janela saying, "For everyone in GCW wrestling, in case you missed our email, please promote WWE Raw tonight." Interestingly also, GCW owner Brett Lauderdale has not been shy in showing WWE acts such as Liv Morgan and Omos some love on Twitter, as well as retweeting articles regarding the rumored partnership. He's also made it known that he would like to request to borrow Omos from WWE for some events in the future. Could GCW's partnership with WWE be part of a larger streaming deal involving Peacock? WWE does already have indie promotions such as Evolve, ICW, and Progress's tape library available through the WWE network on Peacock, so it's within the realm of possibility. It could also be just a big troll though, because Joey Janela's tweet is like the one that Tony Khan did, with "if you missed the email, do the thing." Who knows? But this may not have been the only company WWE has attempted to work with in recent weeks, with Fightful reporting that WWE had made significant arrangements for the appearance of AEW's Billy Gunn to appear at the DX 25th anniversary segment on last week's Raw. Supposedly, plans went as far as for WWE to arrange travel for Daddy Ass. And get this, they even considered adding a graphic to Gunn's name mentioning that he worked for AEW. This would have been incredibly surreal if it happened, but perhaps unsurprisingly, WWE eventually decided against it, leaving poor old Road Dogg heartbroken as a result. One of the more surprising stories from earlier this week was the reported cancellation of WWE's New Year's Day premium live event Day 1. Even more surprising than this was that WWE supposedly have only decided to rebrand the show to a regular old live event, leaving WWE with a sizable 2-month gap between November 26th Survivor Series, War Games, and January 28th Royal Rumble in terms of premium live events. This kind of break between major shows is completely unheard of in current WWE, who have run a monthly-ish or sometimes more premium live event schedule for decades now. While according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, this may not be the only change to WWE's premium live event schedule. Brace yourself, guys and gals, because these changes are looking very promising indeed. Not only are WWE reportedly looking to continue the success of September's Clash at the Castle with yet another UK premium live event in 2023, but they are also reportedly looking to minimize the amount of events centered solely around gimmick match types. So yeah, peace out to Hell in a Cell finally, thank God. Saying that, it is currently unclear whether this will also apply to better received gimmick events such as Money in the Bank and of course the Royal Rumble. Surely not, you can keep that one, Trips. Money in the Bank is an interesting one though. Should it be moved back to WrestleMania and have that spot open up for a different show? Let me know in the comments. Despite cutting down on gimmick pay-per-views though, WWE might actually be bringing back King of the Ring as a premium live event according to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which would cover both King and Queen of the Ring. I am also all for this, but just call it Monarchy Anarchy though, because I made that one up. And now it's time for my review of SmackDown in about 5 minutes. Thank you for being an awesome pledge hammer on our Patreon page, He Ran, Aaron Hanrahan. You can get your own shout out and loads of extra bonus content by visiting us at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. This show opened up with Sheamus vs Solo Sikoa, and big credit to WWE here for a few things. Firstly, opening the show with a match. Big thumbs up for that. Secondly, well done for building Sheamus up and protecting Solo Sikoa enough that this legitimately feels like quite a big matchup, where a win on either side actually feels like a big deal. The match was pretty much what you'd expect from these two, hard-hitting, physical, other synonyms for stiff as heck. The match broke down with interference from the Bloodline, ending with Sheamus taking them out, but being hit by the Spinning Solo, still one of the worst finisher names in WWE right now, for the pinfall. Post-match, the Bloodline went a bit nuts and attacked Sheamus's arm, something that had been worked over in the match, and WWE have announced that Sheamus suffered a non-displaced fracture from the attack, presumably writing him off of wrestling for a little while. In his place though, I do hope that the Brawling Brutes get a bit of a chance to shine, specifically Pete Dunne, because it does feel like they've been somewhat in Sheamus's shadow for a little while, so hopefully this gives them the breathing room to expand into their own characters a bit more. Bray Wyatt cut a promo backstage, and I honestly have no idea what he said because it was cryptic as always, but he said he's going to do horrible things and he's not going to feel sorry about it, and you know what? I'm on board for that, I guess. The interesting part about the Bray Wyatt story this week came later in the show though, as there was yet another spooky dooky video package with all the white noise, glitches and scratchy sound effects you'd expect, with the Uncle Howdy character showing up once more and saying, "Howdy." The voice wasn't Bray's usual voice, so is this another person, part of Wyatt 6, or is this just Bray again and one of his personas? Who knows? The Bloodline were backstage after Solo's win, saying they've pretty much done their jobs for the night, right? But Jey Uso had other plans, saying, "We're on a roll, let's get Logan Paul later." But Sami reminded him that specific instructions from Roman Reigns said to not engage with Paul at all, so they should leave it alone. But Jey said he's a hothead, right? And we'll see what happens. Liv Morgan faced Sonya Deville next, and she had a new character. After her loss at Extreme Rules, there was a WWE.com exclusive where Liv was huddling herself in a corner looking a bit lost and crazy, and this week was the full Joker reveal of that character, complete with makeup to boot. She laughed at Sonya Deville's offense, enjoying the pain, being sadistic the whole time, and eventually snapped, tossing Sonya around and smashing her off the commentary desk and the stairs until there was a double countout, after which she got a big pile of chairs and superplexed Sonya onto it and then laughed some more. I quite like this change for Liv, and while I don't think every wrestler should go crazy after they lose a title belt, I think it's nice to see some consequences and make it seem like title belts matter. You know, like when I lost the championship and I shaved my beard off. Stuff that makes it seem like the belt matters. Commentary put this over as well, saying losing championships changes people, which I'm all for. Thumbs up. LA Knight and the Viking Raiders had video promos, and then Braun Strowman and Omos had a face-to-face, where Braun Strowman said he's big, and then MVP said Omos is also big, and then Braun said they should fight at Crown Jewel, and MVP said okay, and then Omos pushed Braun Strowman out of the ring. I don't care. Speaking of Crown Jewel, Drew McIntyre revealed it's going to be a steel cage match at Crown Jewel between him and Karrion Kross, which the commentary put over as meaning that Scarlett couldn't get involved. Sure, yeah, she won't get involved. Yeah. See what you did there. Damage Katal defended their women's tag titles against Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi next, where the heels won after some distraction. I wonder if that's some sort of pattern on this show. The match was fine, but it just generally feels like a bit of an afterthought. Legado del Fantasma and Hit Row cut dueling promos, and I'm looking forward to their feud. Rey Mysterio faced Ludwig Kaiser next in a fun little match, in which I'm constantly surprised by how well Rey can still move. The heels tried to cause a distraction, shocker, but Rey outsmarted them by paying homage to Eddie and fooling the referee that Gunther had used the chair against him. Surely though, if the ref thought that Gunther had actually used the chair, that would be a DQ, not an eject Imperium, but I digress. Rey won with the 619, and it was good. I cannot wait for Rey versus Gunther though. I think that match is going to be so much fun. The main event segment was Logan Paul cutting a promo. Yep, I thought Logan's promo here was delivered well, but the content was a little off. He put himself over as the underdog, which makes sense, then said he doesn't need anyone cutting promos for him, also makes sense. He doesn't need two guys who are basically the same guy by his side. He doesn't need a guy called Solo who's never been by himself, or a guy that looks like Sami Zayn. What even is that guy? This felt very superficial and actually somewhat detracts from the fantastic work the Bloodline story has done to make each character unique and have their own motivations. Like, Jey and Jimmy are not the same guy anymore. Solo has been by himself in NXT and wrestles by himself and has won clean several times, and just poking fun at how Sami looks is bad babyface promo 101 territory, and especially doesn't work when they're telling the long-term babyface turn of Sami. This felt like a John Cena promo, you know what I mean? Logan's promo was interrupted by Jey Uso, the hothead, who managed to take him down, but then down came Sami to tell him to leave. Roman said they shouldn't do this, but Jey went to attack him one more time and Logan knocked him out and stood tall. The Bloodline stuff is still great. The Logan Paul aspect of this feud, I think, is an unfortunate barrier we'll just have to get past after Crown Jewel, and then we can get back to our usual programming. This was a fine show, nothing super standout, nothing terrible really, aside from the Braun versus Omos stuff being oh so uninteresting. 3 out of 5 seems very average to me. Unfortunately, there is no Rampage review today as Tempest has tested positive for COVID, so it's me and Dan Layton on the WrestleTalk podcast today covering both SmackDown and Rampage, so subscribe over there for that. But first, check out some news about the fact that CM Punk might actually be returning to WWE. I know.
CM Punk might be going back to WWE? I guess? Huh?
Well, yeah, let's... Yeah. Let's look into this.
There's stuff to talk about here.